Do you suffer from the debilitating symptoms of chronic pain, swelling, and loss of joint motion due to arthritis? Are you taking drugs like Celebrex and Vioxx or other super aspirin prescriptions? If you are, you're increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke by up to 50%. This is Dr. Tom Roselle, host of Dr. Tom Roselle Live Sundays at 12 noon. Why live with pain or the dangerous side effects of drugs when the doctors at the Roselle Center for Healing, practicing 21st century integrative medicine, can help you experience relief like never before? Simple, safe, chiropractic, acupuncture, and nutritional care can provide significant relief from arthritic pain in less than 6 weeks. More than 70% of our patients experience a return to life far beyond their expectations. Give yourself the best gift possible, freedom from arthritic pain, naturally. Call today to schedule an appointment. Call 703-698-7117 or visit online at rosellecare.com.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live, right now, on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. This is Dr. Tom Roselle live in studio, 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. Love to talk to you on any subject that you have in mind. Perhaps you've had a problem, you've tried, you've applied, come up with the same old, not a whole lot that works. Well, here's your opportunity to put a fix on it without drugs, without surgery. That's what we do here every Sunday. And, we continue to tickle you to think and to move beyond the traditional. This is your opportunity, 888-630-9625. We have a subject today, and I have a guest, one that you're going to find fascinating, and the guest is someone that all of you know very intimately. They've been listening to Dr. Tom Roselle for a long time, Dr. Jennifer Sims. We're going to be talking about diet and children of all ages. We have one of the most overweight societies on the planet today, and unfortunately it starts with young people and the disease processes that emanate from that. Dr. Jennifer will be your host this Wednesday evening, the 3rd of the month of April. Oh my God, it's already there. I can't believe that's April. Dr. Jennifer, welcome.
Good afternoon.
It is an afternoon. That transition between 12 o'clock in the morning kind of gets me messed up every once in a while.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter and happy Passover,
and happy Passover.
That's right. That's the time of the year that they kind of lock in. Once in a while it happens that way. Dr. Jennifer, you, in our practice, you are our children's expert, and you have been in practice for a lot of years now, and you understand these things intimately. But one of the things that's so critical with children is diet, and diet is something that is so neglected, particularly in our high-paced society today. It's like catch as you catch can.
Absolutely, and when it comes to children, their diet actually is affected as soon as conception. It's not just when they come out and we're feeding them. It starts with the pregnancy of the mom. And if the child is breastfed versus formula fed, and it really does go from there. So it's an issue that I think that a lot of parents aren't very educated about, because a lot of the information out there is extremely confusing and misleading. And it's something that we need to talk about and get people to understand how important diet is. We know from all the programs that you've had that diet and food is medicine.
So what we have is a situation where a child starts at birth, and subsequently they are the manifestation of mom and dad. Whatever mom and dad put in their body, they end up with. And that's kind of, we understand that innately, but we really don't get that. So child's predisposed. Mom's a junkaholic or dad's a junkaholic. Child is going to be genetically predisposed to craving and wanting those things. If mom and dad are putting drugs in their body or alcohol in their body, the child's matrix, their genetic matrix, their DNA has been altered and it's been changed. So you see children every day of the week, and what's common today in their presentations that wasn't common, let's say, 20 years ago?
Oh, that's a whole nother topic. Excuse me. Well,
dietary.
Yeah, dietary. A lot of extremely unhealthy children that are coming in with dark circles under their eyes, emaciated, even though they're eating We're not in a country where they're not getting food, but the quality of the food is so bad that they're very thin. They're not having normal bowel movements. Then we have the opposite of that. Then we've got a lot of obese children coming in. One of the latest statistics I read was almost 1 in 5 American 4-year-olds is obese.
Oh my God, 4-year-olds.
So we've got both ends of the spectrum coming in, a lot of nutritional deficiencies on either side, and a lot of kids that can't focus. A lot of kids that are just not thriving. Even that alone, I get a lot of kids coming in with failure to thrive, which is crazy, especially in this country.
So, I mean, failure to thrive, normally you would think genetically. This is a child that, when they're born, a baby can't latch onto the mother's breast. They don't want to eat because there's neurological involvement with that. But you're talking about kids later on.
Yes, I'm talking about kids that are past, who are on solids. I'm talking about kids who are, in 5th grade and still are not even on the pediatric growth charts. They're too thin, or they're the other way, like I said, they're obese. But yeah, it's pretty significant. And the frustrating part about my job is it's not hard to teach people how to eat well.
But don't you think there's a want to in there too? There's a convenience. Mom and dad are being put out. They have to stop and actually plan something. They don't want to plan their own diet, let alone their children's.
Right. I think you do what you know, and then you pass that on to your children. But I still am always optimistic, and I would always like to think that if they knew better, that they would do better. A little bit of planning earlier in the week can deal with a lot of the issues of time. The big complaint I get when kids get older is they're so overscheduled with sports and school and things that the parents are in the car all day driving them back and forth, and they just don't have time to have a sit-down normal meal because of this. But there's still things that you can do. You can still make better choices even if you have to eat out. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into nutrition, and convenience is definitely one of them.
888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. That's how you talk to us today on any subject that you might have in mind, as well as talking about how to straighten your kids out and your grandchildren out, and maybe even yourself with some of the tidbits we're going. Dr. Jennifer Sims, our guest in studio, your host this Wednesday evening, April the 3rd. If you'd like to join Dr. Jennifer at the Roselle Center for Healing in Fairfax, give us a call at 703-698-7117. That's 703-698-7117. Tell my staff that you'd like to attend. Remember, there is no fee for our in-house continuing education programs. They are a gift to you in the community, but we do require one thing, and that's called a reservation, because we have to say no to you if there's not enough seats. So give us a call, 703-698-7117, and tell my staff you'd like to listen to and learn from and be present for Dr. Jennifer Sims' topic on children and diet this Wednesday evening. Let's talk about, kind of a current situation. It's Easter Sunday, and that means that, from those who are Christian, those who are not, but everybody goes out and eats junk today. Like, they've been deprived forever. And the chocolate bunnies and the eggs and all the candy, and it's almost worse than Halloween.
It's up there for sure. But most holidays are centered around junk food, honestly. It's one of those things. And then I don't know if you've even touched on in the last week or so the whole thing that's going on with genetically modified foods.
We've been tiptoeing through that, and actually we have a program coming up that we're going to talk specifically about that. But let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying we're also bombarded with so many additives and frankenfoods with the Monsanto Protection Act that is out there, that genetically modified foods are being protected. Consumers need to know that this is a dangerous path that we're on.
Well, there was an article that I just read this last week talking about genetically modified GMO foods, that the FDA, in conjunction with Monsanto, said that there is no evidence anywhere that would suggest that GMO foods are any better, any worse, than regular foods, whether they're organic. As a matter of fact, Dr. Oz, which really irritated me, and I talked about this on the radio a few weeks ago, was on his radio show, said that there's no difference between any type of conventional food or organic food. If they're green, and they're good for you, and you should eat them, and the difference is minimal.
Yeah, and Dr. Oz isn't being sponsored by any lobbyists or pharmaceutical companies, too.
No, right.
You know, everybody's got a vested interest, and that's what people need to understand.
He who pays the bill.
Exactly. And it's really not about what's best for the consumer. It's really not about what's best for your children. It's really about what's best for the financial person who's got the best, vested interest in that product. So that's why it is so vitally important to be educated. GMO foods are dangerous. We don't know how they're affecting our cells. Jeffrey Smith is the guru on genetically modified foods. I encourage everyone to Google him, read his book called Genetic Roulette. It gives you data, studies, all the stuff that you need to know about the dangers of GMOs and how we do not need to support them. We do not need to buy them. And the sad part is, even trying to avoid them, we're still going to get them in our foods. Between cross-contamination of fertilized, things that are considered fertilized that are genetically modified versus organic. I mean, it's really hard to navigate through all of this information.
It is. And if you're not willing to step up and do the research, if you're not willing to take the time, then you're going to buy into the Kool-Aid, if you will. You're going to say, okay, well, how could everybody be wrong? Why would they publish this? Why would they put it on the net? Why would they talk about it? One of my favorite commercials is that blonde and the guy they're talking on the street corner about, he says, where did you get your information? She says, on the internet. And she comes up with this date. You've seen that one, right?
Yeah.
And she's dating a French model, and there's this guy, he belongs in Neanderthal land. But that's it. I mean, you can't believe everything that you read. That's why I tell our listeners, my job is to irritate you enough that you're willing to do the research. Don't believe anybody, not even me. And get out there and do it yourself.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point of this program anyway, is to get people to ask questions, to research. Don't take your word for it. Don't take my word for it. But take the time to research what you're putting in your body. A lot of our diseases today are really just a function of poor nutrition and things that are completely avoidable.
888-630-9625. 888-630-9625. That's how you talk to Dr. Jennifer Sims today. And how you talk to her person to person is this Wednesday evening, April the 3rd, at the Roselle Center for Healing in Fairfax. We'd love to have you as our guest, and she would love to host you and go through this topic in a very intimate way. So if you have children, if you are a child, if you have grandchildren, this is an opportunity for you to get it right and really to get some hands-on direction on what to do with these kids and yourself. And we're talking about kids of all ages, not just infants. We're talking about from birth to adulthood. So 703-698-7117. That's 703-698-7117. Love to have you. Just give us a call, say you're coming, and we will be more than delighted to give you more information than you thought possible. In the world today, Dr. Jen, this is a problem, and we're talking about sugars of all forms, because what manufacturers know is that sugar is addictive. And years ago, and we've talked about this many times, when this country was first initiated 250 plus years ago, the average consumption per sugar was 14 pounds per person on an annual basis. Today it's 170 pounds per person or more and growing. And this is why we're seeing kids that have no immune function. They have no capacity to heal. They're fat. They have brains that aren't working the way they're supposed to, and so forth. It's amazing to me that we're not aware that we can have to change this.
Yeah, and so excuse me, I have a frog in my throat today.
Put him in the trash.
I know, he needs to jump out. And sadly, a lot of the new answer to the too much sugar problem with kids is there's a movement, and it's not even a movement, it's happening, is to add aspartame to children's cereals.
Oh, great.
And not necessarily put that on the labeling. There's this huge debate about what's going on with that because, aspartame is really safe, right?
Yeah, right.
It's not going to cause demyelination of the nerves in your brain or increase your risk for dementia or Parkinson's or anything like that. Or cancer. I mean, it's just, the logic is just so completely out of balance. So instead of teaching our children or eating.
Dr. Jen, we're coming up for a hard break, unfortunately, so hold that thought because when we come back, we're going to pick up right where we left off. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. My guest in studio, Dr. Jennifer Sims. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle, author of Ageless Health. Health is a do-it-yourself program. My book, now also available in audio version, is a step-by-step program of how to take control of your health and wellness without drugs or needless surgery. You have the capacity to change your health and level of well-being. Take control of your health today and order Health is a Do-It-Yourself program.
For more information and to order, please visit agelesshealthbook.com. That's agelesshealthbook.com. Educate, engage, empower. Take control of your health with Dr. Tom Roselle and the Roselle Center for Healing. Information is power. Achieve an ultimate state of wellness with Dr. Tom Roselle's Education Lecture Series Video on Demand. Discover how to create an extraordinary life of optimal health and wellness. Visit drtomroselle.com/education. That's drtomroselle.com/education.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. We are in studio. 888-630-9625. 888-630-9625. Happy Easter, everybody, and happy Passover. It's one of those times where we can all reflect. So, nevertheless, we're here to give you the most intimate information on integrative and alternative healthcare. My guest in studio, Dr. Jennifer Sims, your host this Wednesday evening, the 3rd of April. And she's going to be talking about diet and kids and why every kid from birth to adult kind of messed up these days, and if they're not watching it very carefully and coming from families that really understand. Before we do that, Dr. Jen, let's go to the phones. We have a couple calls. Edward, Alexandria, how can I help you?
Is this Dr. Tom Roselle?
It is, sir.
Yes, hello. I wanted to ask you if you're familiar with tinnitus.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm calling in because I'm actually experiencing that issue for myself. I'm 30 years old, and it's been going on now for, I noticed it started to kick in around my early 20s. And I definitely am a product of the 90s generation where we listened to a lot of music, a lot of extremely loud music, specifically in our cars. So
let me ask you a couple quick questions. Is the tinnitus a high-pitched sound, low-pitched sound, or does it sound like crickets?
It's like, if somebody whistles, except it's not incredibly loud the entire time. It's just continuous 24/7.
But how about the pitch itself? Is the pitch high or is the pitch low?
Yes, it's on the higher end for sure.
Okay, so then if it's a high-pitched sound, it's usually liver function, and it has to do with the energetic and acupuncture to the liver not being balanced. But that comes from the liver being overburdened, and it can be a toxic situation. One of the things that works for many people with a high-pitched sound, particularly if you catch it early on, is niacin. And so you go get yourself a time-release niacin if I understand you work for a health food store. So try to get a time-release niacin, and if you know you have no liver pathology, then there's no side effects to this thing. And I would take about 100 milligrams. If you have a larger tablet, break it in half. You can take it up to 500 milligrams, but it best be time release, otherwise you're going to burn and flush like crazy. But it should begin to modify it. If that doesn't do it, then it can be an acupuncture problem or it can be a nerve root problem to the ear from the upper portion of your neck. If you had a history of any kind of injury, if you've been in a car accident, you've been in a fall, even bad dental work where the vertical dimension of the TMJ isn't positioned properly, all of those things can cause a tinnitus type of situation. But you differentiate them based on the quality of the sound, what it sounds like. If it's a cricket type of sound or kind of a low grinding crepitus, then it can often be injury or damage to the cochlea, the inner portion of the ear. So that's how you differentiate that. But what I would have you do is try the niacin first, and if that doesn't work, then you need to see somebody like us because we deal with it all the time.
I had actually got my liver checked over this past summer when I was visiting my mother in Oregon. I had a bunch of blood work done. Also, on top of that, I was taking dandelion root tea. I was drinking that religiously, as well as taking milk thistle. my liver is incredibly clean. And I understand that tinnitus is exacerbated by excessive amounts of refined sugars, caffeine, alcohol, things like that. And I live an incredibly clean life and exercise thoroughly, so I have proper.
And see, the thing of it is that that you may be missing is not necessarily the toxicity level of the liver; it's the functional capacity of the liver. Mm-hmm. And liver, large intestine work together in acupuncture. One's yin, the other one's yang. And if the energetic is not balanced properly, then one is going to superimpose itself on the other. But you look at it not just from a pathology point of view, but an energetic point of view, also a neurological stimulation of that organ. There's no system in the body that stands alone. You have nerve roots, you have blood supply, you have lymphatic drainage, you have acupuncture points, you have reflexes from cerebral spinal fluid, and so forth. So you have to look at the structural, chemical, emotional, structure meaning injury, chemical meaning all those things that are outside of you that you're being exposed to, and obviously stress patterns. And the emotion for the liver is anger. And so when you know you have a liver problem, even if it doesn't show up pathologically, you got somebody who's hair triggered and kind of flying off the cuff a little bit, that can be a liver, large intestine type of problem. So that's where you begin to look. Try those things first. And go ahead.
Niacin. Any foods that you're familiar that it comes in?
No, I wouldn't use foods in this situation. They don't work.
Okay, because my thing is I've taken niacin before. I've also taken something you've probably heard of. It's a homeopathic supplement called Ring Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. It has a smorgasbord of different things in there.
Yeah. The thing of it is, if that doesn't work, then it's neurological or it's acupuncture problem. So that's
because I've noticed that I've gone through many different supplements in my life, and I've noticed that I've actually cut all of them out. I don't take one single pill in the last 6 months.
Okay.
My point being is that, for example, some people will take turmeric for inflammation. I took turmeric for inflammation because I was training for a marathon. It didn't work for me.
Well, that's right. And the thing of it is, Edward, there's no two people are the same. So you have to look at what actually works for you.
That's what I'm getting at. So and then I also took cinnamon to work with blood sugar levels in circulation.
You need to have it evaluated. You have to check your tinnitus from multiple approaches, and what you're doing obviously is not working, so you got to go to somebody who is an expert in that area. Dr. Jennifer, those are the kind of things that you see, and you've seen those in kids as well. Kid will come in with a bad diet or whatever, or imbalanced diet, not even a bad diet, but an imbalanced diet, and they have those type of issues on top of it. They can have ringing in the ear, twitching or twittering or any of those things.
Well, they have tics. A lot of kids are coming in with tics. A lot of that, too, not just the liver, is the adrenals, the adrenal glands, the stress glands. We know that when the adrenal glands are not in balance, you can have ringing in the ears. You can have imbalanced cortisol levels. There's a lot that goes into that issue alone. But in general, there's food allergies that need to be looked at, which is a huge issue with children. Huge. We have kids that are coming out, allergic to themselves, asthma, eczema, respiratory problems, just everything that you can think of, kids are allergic to now. Well, why is that?
That's the question that has to be answered in any type of situation. You have to get to the underlying problem. If you don't answer the why is that, you can't fix anything. It may not be diet. It may not be a need for supplementation. It may be something else, and you have to look at the emotional patterns. You have to look at the injury and the damage to the neurological system. If you leave those things out, you can't fix anything. My guest in studio, Dr. Jennifer Sims, your host this Wednesday evening, April 3rd, at the Roselle Center for Healing. Like to join us? 703-698-7117. That's how you register for that class. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you're looking for the best in natural health, wellness, and green living products, shop the Roselle web store on Amazon.com. You'll find a variety of products and resources that are designed to help achieve an ultimate state of health and wellness. Shop the Roselle web store on Amazon.com today. Visit drtomroselle.com and click on Roselle Web Store. That's drtomroselle.com and click on Roselle Web Store.
Breast cancer is a major health risk to all women. It can silently grow uninterrupted for years. Hi, this is Dr. Tom Roselle, host of Dr. Tom Roselle Live, reminding all women to conduct monthly and annual breast exams. Also consider a thermography scan from the thermography centers as an adjunct to your routine breast exams. Thermographic imaging can detect abnormalities years before a mammogram, and it's safe and non-invasive. For more information, call 888 485-7736 or visit thermographycenters.com. Welcome back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. We've been in studio today, 888-630-9625. That's how you find us. Today and every Sunday, bringing you the most up-to-date information that we possibly can on integrative and alternative healthcare. This is a spot that if you had a problem and you really have done everything you can, but you still got the problem, this is where you find out what to do about it. And go to my website, drtomroselle.com, drtomroselle.com. Love to correspond with you. I answer all of the emails. Sometimes it takes me a little longer. It depends on how many of you email me. But I get to them. Or one of my doctors will call you, and if you'd like to talk to us, we can do that. But this Wednesday evening, you have an opportunity to listen to one of the brightest that I've ever had the pleasure of working with in our practice, Dr. Jennifer Sims. She's going to be talking to you about children and diet, and children of any ages, from birth to adulthood. And you know what? All this information actually applies to us as well. So it's an opportunity to really get it together on nutrition and getting away from some of these things that are making us so sick that nothing's working, nothing's turning it around. Call 703-698-7117. Tell my staff that you'd like to attend this Wednesday, April 3rd, Dr. Jennifer Sims' presentation, and we'd love to have you. There's no cost to the presentation. The only thing that we require is a reservation, so give us a call. Dr. Jen, let's talk a little bit more about the intimacies of what you're going to get into on Wednesday evening and why people should attend and who should attend with us, and what are the things you want to cover, and what are the triggers that are going to get you moving.
Well, I'm going to touch on a lot of topics: nutrition, how to read a label. I think that's kind of important. A lot of requirements for children. Some practical things. I get a lot of questions about even things like, is it safe to drink out of plastic water bottles? All kinds of different things that have to relate to what we are putting in our bodies. It's really going to be just a good place to start your journey on figuring out what you should eat, how you should feed your children. I usually give you resources of places to go look, to get educated, finding out a little bit more about gluten, all the things that everyone's talking about in the nutrition world, to kind of, like I said, give you a place to start.
This class is appropriate not only for people who have children of any age, as I said earlier, from birth to adulthood, but it's also appropriate for people who are thinking of having children, because this is something that you really need to learn early on, not only having the children, but in preparation of having the children, you had to get your stuff right. But for all of us as well, trust me, she's going to deliver information that is applicable across the board, and we'd love to have you as a guest. We'd love to have you on board. You just call 703-698-7117. That's 703-698-7117. Tell my staff that you'd like to be there this Wednesday evening, the 3rd of the month of April. Oh, my God, already it's the 3rd of the month of April. You have in your house, just because I want to acknowledge it, you've got 2 birthdays to 2 little boys. One that's just happened or coming up.
No, one just turned 5.
Oh, God.
And the other one turns 9 next week.
So you are intimately aware of all the nuances of this thing called childhood.
I'm a mom,
yes,
and it's a lot of work.
An amazing
and it's not easy. So if I can help other parents, caretakers, whatever, help.
It's time.
Yeah,
it's a place
absolutely.
For them. We're coming back next week at 12 noon with other very typical information. Be there, listen to me, put it together, and don't believe anything that I say. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. See you next week.
Are you dental phobic? Do you neglect your dental health because of fear and anxiety? A beautiful smile begins with exceptional dental care, and you can trust in the expertise of Soft Touch Dental Care and Dr. Michael Chung. Soft Touch Dental Care is unlike any dentist office you'll ever experience. Their warm and welcoming environment is designed to soothe fears and anxiety the moment you arrive, and they're especially pleased to pamper their honored guest patients. Dr. Michael Chung is a professional and leading expert in all areas of comprehensive dentistry, including cosmetic, sedation, neuromuscular, TMJ, and implant dentistry. Offering state-of-the-art technology, Dr. Chung can give you the smile of your dreams. Arrange for a complimentary consultation today with Dr. Michael Chung and experience the expertise that makes Dr. Michael Chung so unique. Call 703-319-6990. That's 703-319-6990. Or visit bestinsmile.com. That's bestinsmile.com.